All right, everybody. I believe we're live. I hope. We're here in the Spike House with 4 of the 6 members of the Utah RoundNet panel. So, welcome everybody. I'm going to be trying to follow along to any comments, although I'm now realizing that I have. Do you want to log in
Absolutely.
to the YouTube so that we can track comments? Since my computer is up on the screen. It is Phoenix 29. A kid and 2 dogs, and then Phoenix 29, all lowercase. Hopefully you know how to spell Phoenix. Okay, well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Tried to delay a minute or so people can actually hop on. Did we get, are we actually live? Because I didn't get an email saying that we were.
Oh, well, we're like behind.
Let's see.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're a little behind. Okay, we are live. Thanks, Rob, for letting us know that we're live. Great. Okay. So a few things we are going to touch on before we get into the exciting part of the top 100 rankings. I wanted to focus on some of the updates to the season. Obviously, the SRA, if you didn't know, they came out with some changes to their season. Pushing things back until June. Well, I guess May 22nd is now the first tournament in Florida. So that changed up our schedule a little bit, and I think for the better. We came up with some really good plans as a panel, particularly for the month of April, that is really exciting to get to. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that. Also, some of the changes that we did make are built around the 4, I think what I like to call the 4 pillars of our community. And those are high school, college, women, and elite. We wanted to try to continue to push each of those divisions or types of players up and try to encourage more participation from them, more support for them. And once those are all increasing and being supported, it's going to push the rest of anyone else who doesn't fall into those buckets. It's really going to push all of them up. So we are going to, first, the high school season. For any high schoolers watching in, listening in, we have very excitedly announced some coaching. So we have 7 or 8 coaches throughout the state that are going to be hosting weekly practices for their region. And then the high school season is going to get started in April. And then state championship, I believe, is May 29th. But so anyway, so that's the high school season. Practices should be getting started in the next couple of weeks, along with all of our pickups. We've announced, in fact, let me throw up some pickup schedules on here real quick. There.
Should we post this in the Facebook group?
You should put this in the Facebook group. That is a great idea.
Solomon.
Okay, so here are the pickup schedules. So right now we've got 4 scheduled throughout Utah and Salt Lake counties. We're working on some more official pickups down in St. George. There's probably going to be one in Logan, maybe Davis County type of things. So stay tuned on that. As always, just get on the Spikeball app. Make sure you've logged in. Make sure it hasn't been pushed to the cloud and it's not actually downloaded anymore if you didn't use it all winter. Anyway, be on the Spikeball app so you know all updates coming out. They are going to start the week of March 14th, which is daylight savings time, so we're going to get a little bit of more time at night. So that is the pickup schedule. So we've touched on high school and pickups. Also, some of the pickups, particularly at American Fork, where we're going to have lights for our pickups, and we'll have some extra time. I've talked with Solomon, who's kind of running the college scene, and we're going to be doing some college matches. So,
We will.
yeah.
They'll be live streamed. They're going to be epic.
Yep, we're going to live stream as much as we can this year. So we got some of that. Then to help with the women's division, Amanda, would you like to step in and explain what we're doing to promote the women's division?
We are eliminating co-ed divisions to keep those women from playing with men and to play with each other instead.
That's right. So you can still play co-ed and play in an open division, but it seems like every tournament you have a few teams sign up for co-ed, a few teams sign up for women's, and then we don't have enough teams for either for a division, so they end up merging anyway. So hopefully, we've been getting a lot more women at pickups and partnering together. So hopefully that leads to a more competitive women's scene. Also, co-ed matches are really hard when it comes to rankings because someone will play with a guy and they'll win, and it's like, yeah, but did you get carried? So
The guy could be carried by a girl too.
that's true. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, I mean, if you play with your husband, who's getting carried? It's Adam.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Exactly. We have the basement spike stats to back that up.
That's true because I am better than basement spike than you, and you ended up doing better with Amanda. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Rankings prove all. Okay. So anyway, so that is that kind of gets through everything we're doing for each of those pillars. Next, we want to jump into the schedule updates. Here we are. Okay. So some really exciting things coming in April. So we're going to get through March. We've got Vegas, which is going to be a huge tournament with 21 elite teams so far. Squad tournament on Sunday. That registration closes in 2 days, Thursday night. So if you're not signed up for that, make sure you get signed up. And then we have the Free the Spike. That is the following week on the 13th. There are 40 teams signed up already. Only the first 60 get free Chick-fil-A. So I would suggest you also sign up for that right away. And then we've gone down to Southern California, which we just announced after this weekend. That will be in Riverside. So get signed up for that. That early registration also ends this week. And followed by, we got SUU, we got a week off, and then our Provo Major on 410. So all those are all standard tournaments. And then we get to April 17th, which is where we shake things up. So on the 17th, if I look at the schedule here, we have a hat tournament. So this is where everyone signs up individually. And Solomon, explain how a hat tournament works. I'm talking a lot. I don't want to talk as much.
We do love your dulcet tones, though. No, so a hat tourney will basically you'll split everybody who signs up into two different hats, basically.
And we'll probably have two or three divisions, probably two divisions.
Right, and so within, say, the top division, we'll split those people up into, say, there's 30 people signed up. Those people will be split into two hats of 15, and each team will be formed by picking one person out of the top hat and one person out of the bottom hat.
The higher skilled and lower skilled hats. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I guess I should say when you split them up into the two different hats, the one hat will be like the top 15 players and then the bottom 15 players out of those 30. And then basically you won't know your teammate until the night before.
Probably,
and it'll be really fun.
Yeah. I thought about doing it just the morning of and saying everyone show up and just pull them out live. That'd be fun.
Actually, that might be
Yeah,
better.
so we might do that. I might give you a heads up ahead of time. So we'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, so that's the hat tournament. So a new style that we're doing. The following week after that is going to be the Spring King of the Court. Initially, it was scheduled for 5/1. We moved it back to 4/24 because now the SRA tour stop is not happening in Utah in April. It's going to be pushed to August. And so we have an extra week. So we're going to do King of the Court. Then, this is where it gets exciting. So we do the King of the Court. The panel meets. We come up with soft rankings. Where essentially, if that was it, it would be what we would announce. But we are going to keep them somewhat private, but let people know roughly where they are, so that they can then come up with a teammate that's nearby them in the rankings and challenge people higher than them. So on 5/1, now we're doing in the spike house in the backyard. We'll have up to probably 3 different matches happening at any time. Grudge matches. Grudge, not grunge. So we're doing some grudge matches where you are going to just battle other people and challenge them for the spots. And if you win, you can challenge the next people up. So anyway, a lot of people, think that they're better than people higher on the rankings, and this is really the time that you can prove it. So, yeah. Any comments that we need to address so far?
Yeah, Dylan's just barely.
Who's what? Oh, Fogarty?
No,
No,
Dylan
Dylan
Bricker.
Bricker.
Oh,
Said hot take, Solomon is say it for me.
criminally.
Underrated and should be in the top 10, but won't be.
He shouldn't be in the top 10.
He
In
should be
fact,
like
we just talked about how
Say
we're gonna swap him spots. So whatever shows up on the screen, it's just backwards. Me and him, we're actually going back to that. So.
Right, and that is all completely justified by Sanford's round of 16 exit at the Dixie Major.
Yeah.
Going along with that, let's intro the Elite Influencer Program real quick.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
Which is something we're debuting starting after Vegas, where certain members of the community will have a code that they'll put on their story or reach out to you specifically. And if you use that code, you will get $5 off your tourney registration, and they will also get $5. So basically, if you think that you're somebody who could influence a lot of people to sign up for tournaments, message us, and we might give you a code.
Yeah.
Never.
Generally, it's all elite players, and if you haven't heard, check the Discord. But elite players are qualified for that code. And then also for some of these national tournaments, reaching out to other influencers for that. But yeah, we want to be able to give back to some of these top level players or even influencers if they're not top level for helping to grow the community, and figure this is a really good way to do it. You type in the code, you get $5 off, and then you send $5 to the player code that you choose. So yeah, excited about that. Okay. Everyone ready?
I think
Let's
I'm
do it.
ready.
Okay. All right. We are to the top 25 first. How we go through these, teaser. How we're going to go through these is not going to announce or talk about everyone. They're going to be on the screen. We're going to talk about the big moves and notable information that came up here. So here we go. Top 25 should be on the screen now.
All right, well, the big move in the top 5 or so was Taylor Church is going to be passing Tyler Stokes for this ranking. And that was influenced by a couple different things. One, Church has been a lot more active in tournaments the last couple months with wins at Dixie, which was with Stokes, or not. He got second at Dixie with Stokes. He won the KOTC, that happened in Harriman. And we also did a barrier tourney where he got first. And then the other big factor behind Church taking first was statistics, where at the Dixie Major, we used the RoundNet Stats Tracker app from the Max Modell. And based on RPR scores from the finals and I believe semifinals.
I don't know if we had Church's semifinals. I don't think we had that.
Right, but anyways, from different rounds of that tournament, we saw that Church has justification and statistical justification for passing Stokes. So that's why you're going to see him at 1. Stokes maintains his spot at 2. Some people thought Chandler should pass him, but Chandler's going to be staying with 3rd for now. Yeah,
Chandler had a good run. I mean, he did beat Church and Stokes. So I mean, there was talking points that he should pass one of them. But I even talked with him, and he's like, one tournament doesn't justify a change in the rankings, and that's kind of what the panel came up with as well. Also to note, panel members do not vote on their own ranking. We make a case for ourselves, and then the rest of the panel votes. So anyway, obviously, Church has not been number 1 yet until now, so that should be proof enough that you don't get what you want as a panel member. So anyway, okay, so moving right along. Caleb did really well. He passed Gage, but really it's just because Caleb is playing more than Gage right now. And Solomon, you made a big move. Look at you go.
I got top 10, guys.
It's overrated.
He did. So Dylan, hot take was wrong. He did get into the top 10. He's been grinding. I will admit He is pretty dang good these days. I tried to hold him
really
off as
hard
much
for him
as
to
I
say,
can.
guys.
It was. Unfortunately, Creech was really hurt in Dixie. We weren't able to hold him off.
Oh my god.
So, I think each King of the Court tournament we have, we're still going to do a 40-yard dash to make sure that I'm still faster than Solomon. So,
Yeah, that's a good call.
so anyway, so nice job, Solomon. Way to crack the top 10. Spencer Jaron moving down just because of inactivity mostly. Chris, how about you? You take this next batch of Alex moving up, Matt moving
Yeah,
up.
so Alex jumped 3 spots up to 12. It was kind of unfortunate that Alex, who was in the third place game, was that this or was that up with
No,
Ashton
so
too?
that's true. Yeah, that's
So-
true. That was Caleb, Gage, Ashton, and Tim. They all didn't play for the third place
Right,
game, which would have been
so
helpful.
there was no moves there. Alex and Carter played together in the Dixie Major. And then Matt Murray made a few jumps up. I think Alex and Carter was really close, but we don't have stats on them.
Yeah.
So
Well-
it's kind of hard to justify who to put
Yeah.
higher there.
And I think a lot of what's going to happen in these stats is because it was the off season. There's not a lot of statistical data. There's not a lot of results to go off of. So part of it is, or there's a lot more eye test that went into these rankings than I think we'd all prefer. And Alex passed Carter. He did have that King of the Court win in the fall. So I mean, and he's looked pretty good, I guess, outside of last Saturday with Solomon. But that's what happens when you play with Solomon sometimes. So anyway, Matt passed me, which
Stanford took a fall, one of many.
and one of many balls.
Keeps going down.
I'll play enough to hold my spot. I will debate this, and particularly because the 2 members who voted against it aren't here. But both Church and Zeke, Church's reasoning was that's a good T-shirt for this. Was that he hasn't played with me enough, and so he doesn't know. And I know Church is low on me. But for the reasoning that he hasn't played with me, and then Zeke was extremely confident. He just immediately said, "Yeah, I think Church. I think Matt should. Well, the vote was Matt and Ty, but he said, they're definitely better. And Zeke hasn't played against me in 2 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Hey,
sorry,
hey.
Zeke, but if you're watching, you
talks.
that was a little too much confidence for your
I love
information.
It. I love it.
But thanks to Christian and Amanda, they voted for me to beat them. Solomon had a hard time, and so Church came up with the compromise to split Matt and Ty and put me in the middle there. So anyway, that's my rant about my fall. I'm perfectly fine falling to Alex and Carter. Matt doesn't have any data to back it up yet.
And I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens in Vegas. Obviously, Matt and Ty will be playing together. So, if they do well, maybe we'll see some justification to go up. And obviously, squads the next day will be very important as well as Stanford
Well,
will
except
be playing.
right, Matt and Ty will be
Matt
playing,
won't be.
won't be playing
Ty
on
will
Sunday, and I won't be playing Saturday. But yeah, I mean, if Matt and Ty say do better than Alex and Carter, then sure, that pushes them up. And I have no problem falling to people, right? I mean, they wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for me, so I'm perfectly fine with it.
I don't think anyone
But I
likes
just
people.
want data. I just want data showing why someone should pass me. That's all.
Right. And just so you know, Frederick Hinkle does agree with you. He believes that Solomon's massively overrated. Shouldn't touch the top 15.
Yeah.
Oh, Caleb, I love you. Caleb and Carter, I think they're 2 of my favorites, and we're going to Vegas together. Let's go.
Okay, moving on past there. The two. Well, let's start with the drop first. Along with Stanford, we also had Creech. Isaiah Balter is his lesser known.
I changed it on the rankings to say Creech.
Good.
for
On the
record.
rankings, it now says Creech.
It does.
Awesome.
So
The-
Creech falls 4 spots to number 17. This is not really due to lack of skill, but he was injured at Dixie, and then he's also developed an infatuation for disc golf recently. So he's been prioritizing disc golf tournaments.
Which we support a slight infatuation.
Right,
we're
right.
doing a DeGarp tournament in Vegas, but there are priorities.
Right. No. So unfortunately, we had to drop him a little bit just because he's prioritizing those tournaments over spike tournaments. But he is going to be at Vegas, so we'll see what happens there. The big move ups there from there right after Creech.
These are huge. These are I believe the biggest moves, or at least one of them is the biggest move. Nope.
Pretty close.
But
Pretty close
top
to the
five
big
moves.
win.
Yep.
So we had Josh Lynn come in at number 18. He's the number 3 player at BYU right now, behind myself and Ty Easton. And he moved up 25 spots, I think.
24,
Yeah.
as you can see right there. Oh, 25.
No, 25. Yeah,
You're right.
he moved up 25 spots from his previous 43 ranking. He's been grinding out of his mind. And him and his partner Ashton Kirkman, who moved up 21 spots to come in at number 19, had some decent upsets. Coming. Sorry, I'm reading good comment from the YouTube. So I just noticed Frederick's comment. As a person, Creech is definitely a top 5 player.
Creech is the top one. He is we all have T-shirts that have a picture of him.
We do.
And it says the perfect man. He's the perfect man. And we have formally announced the Creech Day. A Creech Day. It's January 15th, something like
Which
that.
isn't even his birthday.
Oh no! It's just when we celebrated him. Oh, he understands it. He's just too humble to admit it.
I asked him.
Right. Anyways, going back to the rankings. So Josh and Ashton in pool play at Dixie, they beat Caleb and Ashton Smith, and then they got capped out by Chandler and Trey Bowman, 25-24, capped out by Sanford, 25-24, and they also beat Carter and Alex. So they had some decent wins in pool play. Ended up getting 6th at Dixie, I believe. So
good players,
big moves
real
from
good
them.
players.
They're very solid, good serves, and Josh especially is really, really good at barrier. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays at Vegas.
Right.
Moving on from there, we have Yin Yang, Christian, and Zane, who Christian stays above Zane. Just barely. The panel, I think, voted 3-2. Oh, actually, no, I think it was 4-1. I think the panel voted 4-1.
And the reason being, Zane, is you.
His stats, actually, we have some stats.
Oh, do we?
We do,
We do now.
All right, we took
So
some
some
stats.
stats on just pool play games, but in the pool play game specifically that we mentioned when I was making the case for Christian versus Zane. I almost said Connor, to be honest.
Oh, whoa.
For Christian versus Zane, Zane had a lot more aces, but he also got broken a lot more, which resulted in Christian having a higher RPR. And I guess stats don't lie, so determining between the two, that's really all we have to go on.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, people can get on hot streaks and generate a lot of aces, but consistency is still an underrated part of the game, and having good touches, good serve receive. So a lot of that definitely comes into that. People might think that, hey, this person gets a lot of aces and whatnot, but that's only one part of the game. So
Sanford also has a little bias against him from incidents that happened.
Me and Zane are all cleaned up at
There's been
this
some
point.
history.
All cleaned up. He makes sure he's always on the hey Stanford, how are you doing type of train. He treats me nice
He
now.
is
So
trying to make up.
he does. He's done well.
Beyond that, in the round at the top 25, we got Zaya and Johnny Schmidt at 22 and 23. Great players who just, unfortunately, both just got married recently. We say unfortunately because it means they have to quell their marriage to Spike. And have
They don't have to. I don't do it.
Right,
but,
they do so.
They choose to.
They choose to themselves, which I suppose is fair.
Johnny hasn't been around since June. Zaya did play at the King of the Court, but I mean, he got carried by Church. I mean, he's solid. He held his own enough to not drop Church, but I don't think you really get a lot for an experimental barrier tournament.
Right. So that's why you're gonna see them continue to drop as they have the last couple rankings. And then the big move up, or the big move for the top 25 was Grant Marriott, who comes in at number 25. Moving up 24 spots. I think it's the second or third biggest ranked move.
Or the third. Yep,
the third biggest move up in the entire rankings. This is his second big move up in a row. 2 rankings ago, he was at number 80, then number 49, and now number 25.
Oh.
So Grant's been grinding. He's very, very solid. Good finishes.
Super consistent player.
Yeah,
too.
very consistent. And he's working on his serves.
Cool.
So we like to see it.
That's one thing that I like so much about RoundNet is for you players who are maybe like just getting into high school or kind of in that high school scene, you can get good so quickly. All you have to do is grind, and that's why I'm really excited for all these coaches to be really helping out these high school kids to really push them to that next level quicker than they would otherwise from just showing up to pick up. So I'm really excited about that. I want to get to a couple comments, particularly about grudge matches that before we move on to the next 25. Me and Carter are already. I've already asked him to challenge Matt and Ty. I don't know why you would want to challenge them, because you're above them already. But yeah, that's true. But no, I want to challenge with Carter to take out Matt and Ty, and at that point, maybe if you and him challenge next, we'll have to see how the whole format goes. Thank you. And
another grudge match that somebody suggested was Yin Yang versus Breadbasket. Breadbasket being Josh versus Ashton. I think that's the best one we've got so far.
Yeah.
Since
right
Josh and Ashton hopped up, 20 spots each
True.
to pass Yin Yang in this latest ranking. So we would love to see that.
There's so many teams that are just like they're literally right next to each other. And it's like, okay, well, let's see, what it really is. So. Love that. Okay. All right. Everyone ready to move to the next 25?
Yeah.
All right. And as we get lower down here, there's going to be less specifics to discuss. Again, we won't go through every single one, but just kind of some of the big moves and let you take over the rest. So they are on your screen now, and they are on our screen now as well.
Perfect.
So big jumps. Looks like you got Bryce Young moved up 14 spots to 27. He's another one's been grinding.
He's been playing a lot. We've played a lot of indoor, and he's been coming as much as he possibly can.
And that's so much during the winter. Like, people might fall a little bit. It's just because they weren't out here and assuming you're going to be rusty. And you can prove yourself and come right back. But yeah, when you're grinding 2 or 3 times a week,
is to see these rankings come out, and then after a few tournaments, we'll play a few, another will come out, and then I think we'll kind of see where people are at commitment-wise, and when the weather gets nice,
right.
Like who's really playing, and when they're the people that didn't play as much but that are still skillfully
consistent,
really great,
right.
That just watching them kind of climb back up or
see if they can hold their own. Maybe
exactly.
They can't. Maybe the skill levels just kind of surpassed them. So. But I think the next rankings are going to be the most accurate and what I am most excited for.
Twice.
What's that?
It's been on this twice.
Ben
goes is at 27 and 30 on this on accident. Let's see.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on there too.
All right, who did I mess up
So,
on? I skipped
27 is
Bryce
actually
Young.
That is who we
Sorry,
were talking
Bryce.
about.
Yep.
Just
Bryce,
so
you belong in that
everyone knows.
27 spot.
Yeah, so Bryce Young should be at number 27. That will be fixed before it is posted on Instagram.
And the website for sure.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
if we had an intern that could do these accurately, that would be great. But unfortunately, I'm stuck doing it. Okay, so I don't know what to say. Okay, go on, move. Let's see who else we got.
A couple other ones. So obviously Bryce Young coming at 27 was big. He's been grinding, really consistent player as well. Connor Anderson moves up 18 spots from number 47 originally. A big basis behind this was his recent performance with Zane and the high school exhibition match, where they beat out Alex Goats and Ben Goats, even
Right.
though Alex is ranked, I want to say, 8 spots. Is it 8?
Zane is 21 and Alex is 12.
So 9 spots. 9 spots higher than Zane. So Connor moves up to 29.
One thing on that too is I wish last time we failed to move up Noah with Connor in the last rankings, and so we had it marked to make sure that Noah moved up, but then he didn't show up all winter, and so Noah couldn't keep moving up with Connor. So anyway, you'll see later that Noah did make a jump because we missed out on him last time, but yeah, I think on last Thursday was the first time I saw him all winter.
Yeah, actually same.
Which is
So Connor comes in at 29, closely followed by Ben Goats, who got second in the high school exhibition match. The biggest drops were going to be McKay and Tyler. McKay just hasn't played much for the last 2 years now.
Got pretty
and did
pretty
not do well
beat up at the barrier.
At the barrier tourney, which is his only recent tourney appearance.
And I don't think it was so much even the barrier part of it, like just serve, receive. It's just, I mean, McKay used to be number 2 player in Utah, but he just isn't around enough to work on a cut serve, work on anything, or to be able to receive some of those serves as well. He's very athletic, very long, has a hard serve.
Got lips.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Koopman is also one who hasn't been able to play as much recently. He did play a lot in the 2020 season, but towards the end of the season, him and his wife were getting ready to have their first kid.
Just had a baby.
Right.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So congratulations
T
to
and
them.
Tyler,
We're gonna
yeah.
give you oh god, what's it? Not bridal shower.
A muffin basket?
Baby shower?
Baby shower present of 9 drops in the rankings.
Oh, great.
I thought you were going to offer him like half off a tournament or something.
We love you. We love you, Tyler. Just to make up for that comment, Stanford is going to give you.
I'll give you a full tournament.
A full tournament off
for T and Tyler.
Because we want you back. Quick address of the chat. Church says Josh Lynn will break into the top 15 just in time to leave us for 2 years.
Oh.
I love this take. I know for a fact that Josh has some decent partners coming up in a couple tourneys that'll be really fun to watch him play. And he's been doing a lot of work. I wouldn't be surprised if he passes me, if we're being honest. So,
Yeah.
moving on, another big move up was Devin Tuttle. Devin has played literally 6 days a week, all the while getting engaged.
Yeah. He is busy.
And also getting his tonsils out. So in the last 6 months, he's done all of those things and played 6 days a week and has really, shown a lot of improvement as seen by his move up to 34.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex Semang with the biggest.
Alex
Alex
Semang
Semang was
jump.
the biggest jump, and in the chat, I'm looking at Chandler and Rob, and I might agree. Lincoln and Alex played together. Let's see, how did they finish in Dixie? Actually, did they do well or not well?
They got 4th, but Alex did get injured.
Okay, so
He got injured, and so that's why they ended up dropping in 2 in the semis.
Okay.
I think they had lost game 1 already though.
Okay.
And then they lost in 3 with Alex's injury in the 3rd place game.
Okay, so I mean, maybe it's not. I mean, you've got the. I mean, Alex is extremely good. I've played with him. He's got a strong lefty. If he can work on consistency and some better touches, again, he's moved up 30 spots already. He's going to keep climbing. So I think Alex is the stronger player of the two, especially in tournament play. But you've got, people who beat them out. Ryan, John, Ben Bliss, Camden, all right above Lincoln. So, maybe Lincoln's spot is fair because, it wouldn't make sense for him and Alex to both jump everyone who beat them.
Right.
So yeah, but there's going to be more tournaments for Lincoln to prove himself. I will say his consistency has gotten way better. Last year he could serve, and that was kind of about it. But he is a strong player and a more consistent player now. So anyway,
We've also
didn't
got
mean to
a
skip some
comment
people.
about Devin should be higher, which is fair. Like I said, he really, really, really has grinded every single day. I think it was just tough because he hasn't necessarily beaten all of these people at a tournament. So in the last tourney, I want to say Grant placed higher than he did. Bryce played the division down, but he did win that division. And so a lot of these people are people Devin was very close to, and I think with a couple more tourneys, he probably will pass.
And that's what we'll see with it being so early in the season, I think, is you have players like Josh and Ashton that'll jump all the way up already, and then people like Devin, who we all know is playing 8 days out of the week and is just always touching, getting touches and serving, and he's always practicing. So as long as he keeps that up, by the next rankings, we'll see another.
Yeah, and
jump
like I say,
right.
the next rankings are going to be the most accurate we've ever had after multiple traditional tournaments, a King of the Court tournament, and then grudge matches. The next rankings are going to be extremely exciting to see what happens.
I like Rob's comment a lot. I get it. It'll be motivation. I think that's
Yeah.
you know,
And
what
then
the ranking should be.
and then Rob, you can Rob and all the fans of Lincoln, you can all thank us later for bringing Lincoln down because that's the motivation we're going to give to him. Just call just call us Shaq.
He still went
I
up, so we didn't
refuse
bring
any.
him down.
I refuse any association with what Sanford just said. Moving on, we do see Justin Ellingford falling 10 spots. He hasn't been as involved recently. Wasn't able to make the Dixie Tour stop, and I honestly only saw him maybe once over.
You look at
You
this
know,
whole group
the entire
of
offseason.
yeah,
5-6 players, and they all dropped. Justin dropped 10, Colton dropped 9, and then Cole, Joseph, and Stein all dropped 7.
But here's the thing: is they didn't drop as much as other people just passed them.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's about 7, 8, 9 people who jumped double-digit numbers because they've been grinding, and so it's just they're being rewarded, and it's just when someone jumps up, someone else has to fall. So
Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment. Going on with that, Ben Bliss and Camden Sandberg got second at the Dixie Major and advanced. So that's why you see them at 43 and 44. Camden moving up 7, and then Ben just moved into Utah, moving in from Idaho. So we love to see that.
yeah.
Ryan and John are 2 BYU guys who got 3rd at the Dixie Major. It'll be really interesting to see how they play in Elite, since they now have to.
Right.
And let's move on.
Yeah. So
I think we've talked about the rest of them.
Yeah.
Lincoln,
everyone else just kind of fell. So
we didn't see quite enough results to justify moving him up all the way.
cool. All right. Let's move on to the next ones. They're on your screen. Let me get them on the panel screen. A lot of this, it's got Noah jumping up 9 spots because we forgot about him last time. Everyone else just fell a couple spots from people moving up. I think the 2 big changes are going to be Scott Sprunt, who did perform really well. He's from St. George, so we don't get to see him a lot. But he played with Blake. I believe it was him and Blake that teamed up, or it might have been Kyson. It was one of those 2. And they did as well. They took 8th place in advanced, which is kind of right around where all these people seem to fall. Actually, more big moves were Lindros, and Nick. Nick getting on the board from SUU. Lindros, he's actually one of my hockey teammates. But he's been grinding. He carried his uncle, who was new. Not that he's bad, but he's new. For a nice PC term. And he carried him to also somewhere. Let's see, where did he get to in Dixie? I can't figure it out right now. Anyway, but they did fairly well in Dixie. And I think he did pretty well in the King of the Court in the fall as well. So
He did. He surprised a decent amount of people in that. I believe he was he might have been in my first pool. Other people who went up, we're going to see Amanda Hall, who takes the position of number 1 ranked Utah women's player. This is not, to be clear, this is not a panel
I joined
boost.
the panel.
Sorry. Before you just take whatever she says at face value, we talked to several different people about this, and a lot of the panel members. And again, Amanda didn't vote on her own ranking, but we did see the way she's been grinding all off season. She's been at pretty much every single RSL night, and has really shown the improvement to kind of take that position. So that's why you see her number 7. Or is it 69? Which one?
She is 70.
Oh.
Yep. She wanted that 69 spot. We had to give it to Braden Cumming. We're gonna ignore it. But you didn't know about that, did you?
I didn't know that at all. Awesome.
So no, that's because Amanda actually she was in that 69 spot after the panel ranking, and then she went to play at the pickup, and she said she played with Braden and Justin, I think a few games at least, and she said that Braden's better than her. She still feels she can take Justin, so she actually forfeited that 69 spot to Braden, and that's why this is all a surprise to you guys.
Yeah, he got some good serves on me. I was having a bad night, but I don't think it'd be right, since he did beat me that night. But I'm coming for him.
So I will say, along with Solomon vouched for Amanda, I will as well. She's got a cut serve. She's clean aced me at least once.
More than once.
I think just once.
A couple times.
But also when I played, so me
I
and
aced Olivia Jenkins once too. Sorry, at nationals. It's the highlight of my life.
I mean, we may as well just end the stream now. That's the highlight. We're not gonna.
I aced
We've
Olivia
peaked.
Jenkins once. She probably wasn't paying attention though, but I did it. So
So yeah, Amanda's a solid player. I've played with her. We went against Alex Tamang and who's his buddy? Alex's friend that we played with our guy one time. Anyway,
I am
but I mean a solid guy and I felt totally comfortable with Amanda with sets and again putting on good serves, pretty decent serve receive. So which a lot of the players kind of that we're getting to now in the bottom 50, bottom 25. It's really about that consistency. They might not have the firepower, but it's consistency to just be able to play, to dig hard. And hopefully this year they grind and going to see a lot more competitive in this bottom 50 rankings. So anyway, I think other than that, it's kind of just been, and it might be finishing out the stream.
Yeah, well, the only other thing I was going to say is you see at 72 and 73, you have Val and Jess, who's a part of Your Mom. And Caleb says, we need the Fishy Sissies versus Your Mom grudge match, which you'll see, I don't think, what do they see right now? Just to 75?
Yeah, they see to 75, and we've got Fishy Sissies. I believe they didn't make the jump because I don't think they. Well, yeah, should we get there? Let's move on there.
Let's
Okay.
move to the next page.
Okay, so here we go. They're now seeing them.
So there was a few people that jumped up. I think they didn't have a great result in Dixie.
And they didn't. They did play advanced, which is commendable, which is why they still Fishy Sissies is who we're talking about. Why they're still above all the other ladies, but Your Mom actually has played well in advanced in the past last year. They came out of 6th seed on one of them on one of the tournaments in advance. So that's kind of why I think in my mind Your Mom still has quite a leg up. I know Alyssa and Camry freaking held their own at the fall Dixie. And although they played with top players, it still says a lot that they were able to still place 3rd and 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it'll be really interesting as time goes on, like we said, as the next rankings come out. Because I think once they get to the point where they can produce their own break, you know what I mean? And we know they can hold their own. They've played incredible. They placed, I think it was like third and seventh, right. In our elite division, playing with Caleb and Ashton Smith respectively. But I think it would be really interesting to see them play Your Mom.
So
a fun little grudge match. I think that'd be fun to watch.
And we actually tried to line that up when we did the high school exhibitions. Because Camry and Alyssa were up, but Your Mom wasn't able to make it. But one thing we're also starting with the next rankings is we also want to come out with a top 10 women's specific rankings. Obviously, it will follow the order that they fall in the top 100, but just to kind of feature them a little bit more. And also, but we just felt like we needed more women against women matches to really know where everyone lines up.
Which I agree with. I don't know if Fishy Sissies are playing in Vegas.
Yes, they're playing women's.
Okay, I think that'll be awesome. That'll be really awesome to see the way that they perform. Because I haven't seen them play in like a really long time, but I have heard so many things about them just killing it and moving up. So that'll be really, I think that'll be awesome, especially to see them against women competitors.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've got a full women's division in Vegas. We've got. I think half of those teams are Utah ladies going down. I know Liza is going down. Are you playing with Liza? No,
she's playing with Whitney, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Who are you playing with?
I'm playing with a girl from California.
Oh, that's right. You are. Cool. Okay. Cool. So anyway, we're really gonna get more data on these women over the next month or two. So that'll be exciting. Other than that, a big fall was Mara. Again, really just sorry, Mara. She just hasn't been out enough or been out recently. A lot of these other ladies have been grinding through the winter. So she took a little bit of a fall, but still definitely a top lady when she shows up. I know Liza's going to be bummed of falling, but just bad turnouts to King of the Court, back-to-back King of the Courts, hasn't done well. I think that's a hard thing for some of these. In the bottom 25 is players that they're able to hold their own with a good teammate, but when they're playing King of the Court, which is you have to hold your own by yourself with any teammate, some of the King of the Court kind of shows some of those weaknesses. So,
Sure.
and then to finish it out, Genna moving to Utah, so had to put him up here. Don't really have a lot of tournament data on him. Same with Dylan Mundy. But I think both just felt like they deserve to be in this top 100, and hopefully we get some data from them
I definitely
shortly.
think Gianna should be higher, but again, we didn't have the data, and he'll prove himself.
Yeah.
When he's gonna show up at these tournaments, and he'll skyrocket soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when his first tournament last year. They got killed in intermediate, and the next tournament they won intermediate or something like that. I mean, he's definitely an up and coming player. And now that he's in Utah and not Rexburg, he can play with the big boys.
For sure.
Awesome.
Rounding out the rankings, we've got Coco because Coco's the GOAT. That's the only reason. And if you need more justification, you can not have a say in the rankings.
There you go.
Because it's true.
Boom.
Okay, way to finish that one out. Any comments we need to?
Coco's the go.
Coco's the GOAT.
And Coco is
uh,
playing in
yeah.
Advanced in Vegas.
Really? With
Who's he
who?
playing with?
Connor.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So it'll.
Cool.
I'll also say Rob comes in at number 88. Let's just say me and Rob will be playing Cedar City Open,
There you go.
and he'll be jumping up shortly.
Wow.
Okay, there we go, Rob.
Again with the.
Get that old man strength in there, Rob. I mean, honestly, solid player. It's
I
just
feel
hard to break.
I feel like we should see Rob
I feel
Hertzler
like-
and Todd Tuttle face off.
Well, they
Tuttle's coming up.
have a 45 and over group division that they want to form. It's just the two
But
of them
there's
though.
only two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be great.
me and Church will get there in 12 years though. So I mean, we're
Really? That'd be sooner.
In other words,
Just kidding.
Yes.
I think we had a typo on Amanda's rankings.
all right, end the ranking, end the live.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Again, make sure you go sign up for the upcoming tournaments. Throw those up on the screen right now. You've got these. Actually, let me do this guy. There you go. So we've got Sin City Classic coming up this week. Also, get your squads ready. Then we go down to Southern California, and then back to Utah. So lots of good stuff coming up. Hope everyone enjoyed it.